long time ago.
Oh, Grandmom, don't wake up. I really, really don't have time to talk now. I peek around the corner of my book. Grandmom's eyes are closed. Maybe she was talking in her sleep. She's old, but cute at the same time, lying there with her hair curled and blued for her birthday party tomorrow. Don't wake up yet. I have 3 pages left to go. Where was I? Ah, Rodrigo, weakened by his attempts to sever the leathern cords by which his wrists were bound, sighed deeply. His thoughts turned to Flavia, his true love held captive by the insufferable Ignacio, who...
It was a very long time ago.
I peer over the top of Rodrigo's Revenge by Lola Albright, my new favorite Gothic novelist, and I'm instantly pierced by Grandmom's pale blue eyes.
Who are you?
She asks, lacking only a hookah to sound completely imperious, the old sweetie. It's me, Nicole, Grandmom. I scoot my chair closer to her bedside. I'm watching you this afternoon while Mom is at the dentist, remember?
You likely were not watching me since you've been buried inside that novel. Whose child are you? I've lost track.
I am the youngest child of your youngest child.
Ah, neatly put. You're 12 now, correct?
Almost 13. What was a long time ago, Grandmom? You said it twice, once in your sleep.
You're too young to know the difference between sleeping and non-committal consciousness. I was watching you. A long time ago, I too could sit curled up in a chair, absorbed in a novel, and hoping dinner would be late. Is it a good book? The cover looks trashy from here.
It's wonderful. I hold the book closer so Grandmom can see the title, author's name, and mysterious swirling mists in the gloaming. She smiles and faint dimples crease her cheeks. My dimples, my mother says. I found it in your attic yesterday when I came with Mom. There are others, and I'm going to read them all. Listen, Rodrigo, the hero, is locked in a horrible oubliette. All dark and dank, but he's got to save Flavia in the next 3 pages, or she'll become Ignacio's unwilling bride. Like the bride of Frankenstein. And he's ugly! He's placed a musket that will shoot her if she moves, because a cord is tied to the trigger. I was a bit breathless after all that, but honestly.
That part about the musket comes from Noise the Highwayman.
Grandmom says,
Read some to me, would you? I enjoy books read aloud.
I turn back the pages to a heart-wrenching scene with Rodrigo after he'd been in the oubliette for days. Grandmom, what is an oubliette?
It's a prison cell, as you could probably tell, from the French oublier, to forget. People who are thrown into oubliettes are literally left and forgotten. It's feminine. The French have a tendency to feminize nasty things.
Well, listen to this. Rodrigo's thinking.
Good Lord, it's dark. How can I see anything in this constant night? It must be daytime outside. I dream of the sun on my Flavia's face. Right now, I'd settle for a candle. 1,000 candles wouldn't be enough. I hope she's all right. I despise this dark.
Forefinger holding my page, I press the closed book to my bosom. Doesn't it just give you goosebumps, Grandmom? You feel like you're there in the dark with him, pining for Flavia and the sunshine?
I followed the gist. The printed page can carry us to the farthest ends of the universe, or into some dark hole like Rodrigo's. Do you enjoy writing?
My teachers say I showed talent.
But do you enjoy writing?
Not homework, but I love writing in my diary. I fiddle with Rodrigo's Revenge. Grandmom watches me for a moment, and then says she needs to sit up.
Nicole, do you think you're strong enough to boost me up a bit?
I'm very strong. I'm on the tennis team. What do I do?
Come around to the back of the bed, reach over, and pull me up a few inches from where I've slithered down. Under my arms. That's right. You won't hurt me. Use your forearms so you don't lose your place in the book.
Grandmom is so light it surprises me. She has me push a button that lifts the bed under her knees to keep her from sliding again.
Would you swing the tray over my lap? I'm going to try some of whatever this blended mess is that your mother left for me.
I laugh. Mom isn't the best cook. If Rodrigo had been able to see it in the dark of his oubliette, he might have refused to eat it, starving as he was.
Curl up again, Nicole. Finish rescuing Rodrigo before the end of the book, even if the author has had him in that odious prison for the last 3 chapters.
How do you know he's been in there that long?
I'm a writer. I sense these things. Here's a question. Why follow Ahab and his crew for 1,000 pages only to have Moby get his revenge in 1 paragraph at the end? For suspense, dear. Though in Lola Albright's case, it's overdone to a ridiculous level.
We won't read Moby Dick for 2 more years, but I catch Grandmom's drift. I settle back into my armchair, eager to return to Rodrigo's revenge. The book opens to where my pinched finger has held my place, and I fall into committed unconsciousness.
All done?
Grandmom asks when the book is closed and again held against my heart. I nod, taken with the ending, reeling with the kiss on the last page.
Did Rodrigo rescue himself and Flavia in time?
At the last minute, Grandmom, let me tell you how. He's in the oubliette, tied to his chair, and he feels a rock on the floor by his tied-up feet. He picks it up between his feet and manages to heave it over his head and behind him. I pause to see if Grandmom is as impressed with Rodrigo as I am. There's that big, dimply smile again. She writes poetry, so maybe she can't identify with the prolonged soulish anguish contained in a novel.
You're staring, dear. Please do continue.
Well, Rodrigo falls backward in his chair, and shattered glass falls all around him. The rock has hit a window, you see. The window was painted black, so no light could get through, but he felt a draft. It was a miracle he hit the window at all.
Anachronistic, Deus ex machina, and the draft was borrowed from Tolkien. I bet I know what happens next.
Don't spoil it, Grandmom. He finds a piece of glass in the dark, cuts his bonds, and climbs out the window. It's daytime, and the sun gives him renewed courage because he'd been so depressed in the oubliette.
I'd feel the same way. Proceed.
He lands on the back of his horse, which came when he whistled.
That Zane Grey, Zorro, the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Grandmom, it's the end of the story.
Sorry.
And he rides to Ignatio's to save Flavia, and...
Did he remember the shard of glass?
Grandmom interrupts, leaning forward, curls a quiver, eyes and dimples in full force. Have you read this, Grandmom?
I'm more the literary type, you know.
I do know. You're famous. You wrote that whole shelf of books there. We read your poems in school. Did you know that? Our teacher says we'll enjoy them more when we reach the age of reason.
You're almost there, child.
I bet you read Rodrigo's Revenge. That's how you know so much about the story.
I may have glanced at it 60 or 70 years ago.
Is it that old? Later, it will dawn on me that I committed a serious faux pas in asking that question, but Grandmom never blinks. I'm going to see when it was published.
Please don't bother, Nicole. You may finish your story.
But I'm on a quest and open the book to the front. I jerk upright when Grandmom makes a sudden snatch for it, and I catch her arm. She could have fallen out of bed leaning over so far. Grandmom, what are you doing?
Nothing.
She pulls back her arm and tucks it under the covers.
I did read it, Nicole. You needn't check the copyright date.
That's okay. I'm curious. Keeping one eye on Grandmom, I search the page. It was written in 1955. Wow. Grandmom?
Go ahead, child. Read what it says.
It doesn't say Lola Albright. It has your name, Lila Brigham. Grandmom, does that mean?
Unfortunately, yes. In 1952, I wrote the first of the 6 Rodrigo stories. Impressionable minds devoured them, and I needed money. Then, after I finished college, I developed a very different style. And there you have it, my life story. Youngest child of youngest child. Rodrigo could have expressed himself so much more eloquently had I written him after I'd learned how to compose a sentence.
Grandma, what I read to you was beautiful. Rodrigo couldn't have said it better than you had him.
He's wimpy. There was no passion. You say you love to write in your diary. Do you write your school assignments in the same style?
Of course not. I don't want those children to know my innermost thoughts.
Not shying away from thoughts, emotions, and passion is called poetry. Rodrigo only touched the surface. Suppose we have a writing assignment now.
Grandmom doesn't wait for an objection.
Suppose we let Rodrigo's real thoughts out about being in the oubliette.
Isn't that plagiarism?
The whole of the Rodrigo series is fraught with plagiarized passages. But as to our rewriting what you read, I, the author, give us permission. Reread it, please.
I read it aloud to Grandmom, and as I do in my diary, I think about letting go. Grandmom's right. I, or Rodrigo, might have said much more.
Can you identify his desires?
Well, that's easy. Freedom and the sunshine. And Flavia.
He wants to be free to see the sunshine on Flavia's face. So as the sun is the most important, we'll end with that and deal first with Flavia. 2 sentences at most, short and sweet. Remember, poetry can be written as prose, so don't tie yourself in knots trying verse.
How about I try having him speak to her? Grandmom nods. I try. Dear Flavia?
Dearest.
Dearest Flavia, I long to release you from prison, to see your face and touch your hair, to see our love touched by the sun.
Caress is a good synonym for touch. You made a good move into the sun, though. What did you feel?
My heart, Grandma, it got so big inside me it almost hurt.
Brava, my dear. Ready for the sun?
That will be harder. Can I use paper?
You wouldn't be a writer without paper. If your mother hasn't moved it, there's a pad on top of that bureau. Now really get into Rodrigo's thoughts. Be Rodrigo. Give him some, well, make him courageous, not Lola Albright wimpy. Lay bare his soul.
I think and write and crumple paper. Grandmom is enjoying this. Her eyes are closed, but her smile and nods are encouraging as I try some phrases aloud. I think this is okay, Grandmom. I kept in the 1000 bit. I liked that.
I did too. Proceed.
Oh, God, if you could,
Would?
if you would, help me to shatter this darkness, to smash this night, to break this shadow into 1,000 lights of sun, into 1,000 whirling dreams of sun.